can be the most powerful tool you've ever used. So right now, I want everybody to pull up your Instagram right now. I'm going to give you a quick social media primer right now. Okay? And a simpler way to think of since I don't have time to do the 25, I'm going to show you something called VRIN score. V-R-I-N. So pull up your let me explain what they are. V stands for value. R stands for rarity, or how rare it is. I stands for inimitable. And N, sorry, that's an N, stands for non-substitutable. Okay, who here is struggling to grow their social media? Raise your hand. It's just not growing, you're not using it, you're not making it. It's the VRIN score is all messed up on your posts. So, who here knows who Dan Bilzerian is? He's a guy who posts on Instagram. He's not an A-list celebrity, but he has more followers than most A-lists. He has 22 million Instagram followers. His average post gets 500,000 likes, 4 million video views on Instagram. Okay, his target audience is 16-year-old boys. What do 16-year-old boys value? All the guys here when you're 16? Women, what more specifically? Boobs and guns. What do you notice a lot in TV shows? So what does Dan Bilzerian post to his audience? Girls in bikinis shooting machine guns. Now, I'm not saying anybody here has to follow that formula, but to his audience, it brings on a 1 to 10 scale, boobs and machine guns, it's like a 10. Rarity. How many Instagram accounts are posting machine gun with boobs? 1, 2. So 1 to 10, how rare it is. Dan Bilzerian's a 10. Inimitable. Here's what inimitable means. It's a fancy way of saying, could you do it yourself? So the average of the 22 million followers that follow Dan Bilzerian, could they just make a few phone calls and get a whole bunch of girls shooting machine guns in bikinis? No. The average person in, Timbuktu or Nebraska or whatever is like, I don't know how to do that. So in terms of them recreating it, it's very hard, okay? So he's a 10. Now, non-substitutable is sometimes get confused with rarity, but you could basically say the entertainment value people are getting from Dan Bilzerian posts, how easily can they get that from any other Instagram? Not necessarily the machine guns, but that, oh, this is awesome, right? And there's really not many substitutes. I would say Dan Bilzerian's probably like an 8 there. There are some other things that people like to look at Instagram for. There's some substitutes. Good way to think about it is if you like basketball, but you also like baseball, if they happen to be on at the same time, you might substitute baseball for basketball or football, okay? So Dan Bilzerian, so what's the average of 10, 10, 10, 8? 38 divided by 4 is roughly 9.5. When you have a 9.5 on your posts on your Instagram, you will have 20 million followers. I can mathematically pull any of your guys' Instagram without knowing your face, knowing your follower count. I'll tell you how many followers you have by doing quick VRIN score in my head. Value, rarity, inimitability, non-substitution. So when you poll your audience, remember I said you got to poll your audience? You discover their values. You discover their values. So some of you are, so I'll give you an example. People follow me for different reasons. I don't post the most, a lot of people post more business stuff than me. There's other entrepreneurs posting more business. Why do I not post all business posts? Some people are like, Tai, I follow you because I want to learn business and you're posting, other stuff. Well, I've polled my audience. My audience is people who want to see the rewards for being an entrepreneur. There's lots of books on business. You don't have to learn that from me, but you can go to Harvard. A professor will tell you how to do business, maybe better than me, but a professor can't show his life that gets a 16-year-old from stop and play video games to reading books and building businesses. Does that make sense? So I discovered that the values of my customers, they put extremely high value on seeing the lifestyle behind so that's why I post there. And I post things that are relatively rare if you follow mine. Now, I would say Dan Bilzerian's probably doing better than me. I would say I try to post things that are, here's the rule of thumb. 8 or above. Don't post it if the average of the 4 is not an 8 or above. Okay? Who here wants to volunteer their Instagram, your social media? Look, if they're following you for inspiration, how rare is it to see a couple together? 1 to 10. Throw out a number. 1. Okay. How hard is it for the average person to post a picture with their significant other? Can you substitute and find other things to do on Instagram equally as interesting? 1 to 10? 1. Now, value, see, maybe your followers like seeing you and your wife or husband, or girlfriend. So you might have a 10, your audience. But what's 10, 1, 1 average? 10, 1, 1, 1. 14 divided by 4 is what? 3.5. No chance. I see most people trying to compete with me with social media. I'm like, you got no chance. And I'm not saying that because I'm cocky, because I'm actually watching. Ooh, is somebody going to catch up? And then I'm like, I can go to sleep. I can sleep well knowing. But now I can't sleep as well because 1,000 of you know this. Is this helping you at all? Is this practical enough? Is this practical enough? It's pretty practical. I hope so. Okay. All right, grow your social media. Number 4. I don't think I'll get to all 9, unfortunately. I got 9 of these, but 4. Let's talk about traffic, marketing. I rarely talk about this, but I will talk about this. Who here can take people from not knowing who you are to buying from you on the same visit to your website? Really good at that. I think 2 hands up. Okay, to get to 8 figures, 10 million or above in revenue, you have to be able to have a funnel that's convincing enough. Let me tell you a story. I was just in New York City. If you watch my Snapchat, I went with my buddy to see the Book of Mormon, the Broadway show, and I went with a guy, and I never post a picture with him. He's the most secretive guy in America, but I think he's the best marketer in the world, in my experience. He makes about, he got businesses online. He doesn't put his face on them, but he makes $6 million a month net. Okay, that's a lot of money. Very few people make 67, 70 million bucks a year. And one of the things we talk about is this cold traffic, and he laughs because he's like, nobody's up to the challenge of building a funnel that converts cold traffic. You know how long he takes to build his cold traffic funnels before he launches them? He'll test them right away, but before they're done, 1 year. See, the wise general is not just the general who always takes action. Some of you have seen me being in little friendly debates with other entrepreneurs that talk about work and grind and hustle. My friend's laughing all the way to the bank. All these entrepreneurs running with their head, like a chicken with their head cut off, work, 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 work. Work is 20% of the formula, by the way. If you want to know the scientific answer to is hard work needed, it's called industriousness by psychologists. It's 20% of the formula. 25%, you could say. But the 4 are prudence. That's the ability to be street smart and make good decisions. That's 25% of the formula of wealth, prudence. Okay? Number 2 is diligence. That's the hard work, industriousness. That's 25%. Number 3 is perfectionism. My friend's a perfectionist. 1 year to build a cold traffic funnel. And then it converts. And then it lasts for about 2 years. He works for 1 year and then can take 2 years off. And then it will stop working. You got to revamp the funnel. And the last one is organization. World War II, we had generals that were more organized. Does anybody know who the general was in World War II? Eisenhower. You know what Eisenhower's background was? Master of behind-the-scenes organizational planning. So if you want to get to 8 figures, it's all that has to come into this cold traffic. You have to be able to take your social media following that you're building by using increasing the VRIN score that I talked about, posting more interesting things. Out of every 20 you post, one of them will go viral randomly. You get followers in, you get more people following you. They're up here at the top of the funnel. Now, what makes people who don't know you buy from you?